The Chambered Nautilus by Oliver Wendell Holmes Sr. This is the ship of pearl which, poets feign, sails the unshadowed main, the venturous bark that flings on the sweet summer wind its purpled wings, in gulfs enchanted where the siren sings and coral reefs lie bare, where the cold sea maids rise to sun their streaming hair. Its webs of living gauze no more unfurl, wrecked is the ship of pearl, and every chambered cell where its dim dreaming life was wont to dwell, as the frail tenant shaped his growing shell, before thee lies revealed, its irised ceiling rent, its sunless crypt unsealed. Years after years beheld the silent toil that spread his lustrous coil. Still, as the spiral grew, he left the past year's dwelling for the new, stole with soft step its shining archway through, built up its idle door, stretched in his last found home, and knew the old no more. Thanks for the heavenly message brought by thee, child of the wandering sea. Cast from her lap, forlorn, from thy dead lips a clearer note is born than ever Triton blew from weathered horn, while on mine ear it rings. Through the deep caves of thought I hear a voice that sings. Build thee more stately mansions, O my soul, as the swift seasons roll. Leave thy low vaulted past, let each new temple nobler than the last shut thee from heaven with a dome more vast, till thou at length art free, leaving thine outgrown shell by life's unresting sea. In stanza 1, the poet introduces the nautilus, a sea creature that lives inside a beautiful spiral shell. Instead of describing it scientifically, he imagines it as a magnificent ship of pearl sailing across the open sea. He fills the scene with mythical elements, sirens singing, mermaids resting on coral reefs, and enchanted oceans. They are not meant to be taken literally. They create a magical atmosphere and suggest that nature itself possesses wonder and mystery. The stanza celebrates beauty, imagination, and the mysterious world beneath the sea. In stanza 2, the tone changes. The poem now looks at an empty nautilus shell washed ashore. The creature that once lived inside it has died or moved on. The shell's delicate rooms, where the animal spent its life, are now exposed and silent. What was once alive has become an abandoned home. The poet invites us to think beyond the shell itself. Although the creature has gone, its shell still tells the story of its life. This stanza introduces the idea that outward objects can preserve the history of growth long after life has moved on. In stanza 3, the poet explains how the nautilus grows. Each year, instead of remaining in its old chamber, it builds a larger chamber and moves into it. It seals the old room behind and never returns. This natural process becomes a powerful metaphor for human life. People should also continue growing intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. We should not remain trapped in old habits, fears, or narrow way of thinking. Every stage of life should lead us into something greater than before. This is the central image upon which the entire poem is built. In stanza 4, the poet thanks the abandoned shell for teaching him an important lesson. Although the Nautilus is silent, its shell speaks through its example. The poet says that its message is clearer than the sound of Triton's horn. Triton is a figure from Greek mythology who was believed to blow a shell trumpet across the sea. The shell becomes a teacher. Nature is no longer merely beautiful, it becomes a source of wisdom. The poet realizes that by observing the nature world carefully, we can discover truths about our own lives. In stanza 5, this final stanza contains the poem's main message. The poet turns inward and addresses his own soul. Just as the Nautilus continually built larger chambers, he urges himself to build more stately mansions within his mind and character. These mansions represent greater knowledge, wisdom, kindness, faith, imagination, and maturity. He encourages us to leave behind old limitations instead of clinging to them. Eventually, just as the Nautilus leaves its shell, human beings must also leave behind their earthly lives. Therefore, while we live, we should never stop growing. The poem ends with a hopeful vision of continuous personal and spiritual development.